Call to order the town council meeting of Crewe, Virginia, regular council meeting on April 13, 2015. Will you all please rise, and we'll start with the invocation. Shirley and Evie with the pledge, please.
Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We welcome you here and see some new faces, and those of you who are here for the first time, you are welcome. We meet on the second Monday of every month, and we are open to the public. So it's at 7 o'clock, so please, bring some notes time, because we represent you, and we need to know, how the citizens feel about the jobs that we have taken on and how we should do them. I'm going to start first with the president of the Chamber of Commerce for the Crewe workforce, Bill Foss. He has attended the tourism seminar that went for 2 weeks. He devoted 2 complete days to this, and I had asked him if he could just tell us who were not there just a little bit about it, and how, what he felt like he got out of it, and maybe how, looks forward to how it may benefit our town.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I'm going to read this because I don't want to miss anything, because it was very important. I had the pleasure of attending a 2-day tourism and marketing workshop. The workshop was hosted by Sandra Tana from Virginia Tourism. It was a rewarding experience. Opening the workshop was quite unique. We were split into 3 groups and given a puzzle to put together. Now, I want you to visualize 3 puzzles. The first team finished because they had a picture to follow. The second team could not finish because they had pieces missing. The third team could not finish because they had no picture to follow. And we all had to come up with a conclusion. And the conclusion was, it takes everyone to work together, whether it be the town, whether it be small business, or concerned citizens. When you put those 3 pieces together, this is what town council and the town are trying to accomplish. The first day was spent in an honest discussion of Crewe's assets and concerns for tourism. 1 was events, 2 was famous people, 3 was restaurants, 4 was products and places, and the last one, items to be developed. The second day got a little bit heavier. They focused on developing a strategy on how we could best use our current assets and overcome our concerns for enhancing the town. Number 1 was strengths, number 2 was weaknesses, number 3 was opportunities, number 4 was threats, the next one was red flags, the next one was community assets / partners, and the last one was infrastructure / pillars and policies. The biggest disappointment to me was the lack of participation. We had 3 groups of 3, which was a total of 9. We were represented by 4 businesses. But for those that were there, they all got a lot out of it. They're looking forward to anything new that's coming up. I got an email from Mrs. Tanner today that there's going to be a workshop, I think, next month and it's limited to 150 people. It's free, but you have to sign up. The last challenge that we had, and I'll just leave you with that, we had to plan a one-day trip for our host, taking in mind that she lived an hour and a half away and wanted to come on a Monday to spend a day in Crewe. We had to give her an itinerary where she could have breakfast, where she could have lunch, what she could see, and end her day at 4 or 4:30. Well, that was a challenge. And she didn't know our situation. So she said she wanted to come on a Monday. I says, can't do it. Restaurant's not open on Monday. Okay, let's do it on Tuesday. Well, one of the sightseeing tours is not open on Tuesday. Okay, let's go to Wednesday. One of the sightseeing tours weren't open. Let's go to Thursday. Well, we finally found Thursday. But they weren't available Thursday. They wanted to come on Friday. One of the businesses closed on Friday. So we finally reached Saturday. And it started at Dining Crewe at 8 o'clock in the morning for breakfast. Then they did their tour with antiques, Rose Patch, the newspaper being of the year that it is with all things in there. And then they decided that from there they were going to do a light lunch, nothing heavy. So we took them to an outside exposure to Luigi's. From there they went to the museum. From there they went to the library. In the afternoon we wound up at WSVS radio station because on Saturday they have live broadcast of bluegrass. The final stop, and you'll find this hard to believe, we picked AJ Produce because of their barrel candies and any type of cheese or crackers that they wanted on their way home. That was our chore for the day, and that's how it ended. So the next step is Phil will be getting a summary of what went on, what we did, her thoughts, and that's what happened. But I was glad that I attended. It was inspiring.
Thank you so much. For those of you who hopefully you were aware, but had forgotten, was that with the Economic Development Committee, they had gotten Sandra Tanner to come and do this. And it was my understanding we weren't invited.
That's right.
Yeah, but I heard a little grapevine tonight that they wondered why we weren't there, but I can't.
Well, it was a mixed bag. With all the seminars that she had, some weren't, some were, some towns were, county officials were. It was a real mixed bag, but there was more not than were.
Well, but why I wanted him to tell you, because he was so excited, and I just off the cuff, I just saw him, and I said, well, how was the first meeting? And I mean, he was so excited about it. And we take taxpayers' funds that make up the budget, and I wanted you all to see the enthusiasm that I have seen through our chamber president having attended this. I think it, from my opinion, whatever we get out of it, it has got to be positive just from his input and all. And Susan, you were there.
I was there for a very short period of time, but the little bit I saw, it was very informative. I wish I could have come to the second day. I just was
and it did not. It cost these people to come in the way of time, how they had to choose to spend their time, and I'm so appreciative, and I thank you. Thank you very much, and I thank you for giving us a brief synopsis, because we will get a complete
Overview of
evaluation
everything.
that we can look at and, you know, try to make a program to, you know, initiate here in our community. Do you all have any questions, Mr. Fox? Any other comments from the citizenry? Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. Materials on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be approved by one motion. Any item can be removed from the calendar at the request of a member of council and may be voted on separately. You have there the minutes of the regular town council meeting held Monday, March 9, 2015. The bill sheet with an addition that the town clerk has passed out, and it brings the bill with the addition to $137,239.43. And you have, so do I have any comments?
May I make a motion that we approve the consent calendar along with the additions?
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Okay, and a second to approve the consent calendar with the additions to the bill sheet. All those in favor by aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passed. Town managers report. Are you going to freeze us out?
Open it up a little. Thank you. Let's see, got quite a bit tonight, to make up the last time. We're working hard on the budget, Tiffany and I, so far. We're at a good point right now. We think we've got all our revenues and expenses plugged in, with the exception of salaries, which she's working on this week. This should give us a good idea of where we stand. Put us at a point where we can begin meeting with the department heads to review the upcoming budget and see if there are any particular needs that we're not aware of. Right now, I can't think of anything, but we're still meeting with them and talking. The budget should be ready for the budget meeting at our April 27th work session that we're going to announce we're having. And after that, we should be ready for publication and public hearing. If all goes well, public hearing and voting can take place at the regular June meeting, or before, if we advertise at least 2 weeks in advance. I don't see how we can do that if we meet work sessions. So we do have time, council meeting, if something messes up, we can have a special meeting before the end of June to pass it. I don't have any clue right now where we stand on it. We haven't looked at that magic number yet. She's going to have all that done before she leaves this week. So she's leaving. Stevie too. The sewer project is ongoing. Of course, as of March 25th, work in Division 1B, which is the tri-state inspection and liner, it's about 50% complete. There have been some issues with tri-state, but haven't the Vice Mayor. But they have been extremely helpful in resolving them, and those that involve homeowners were handled quickly and decisively. I've been impressed with their reaction. Obviously, when you cleaning sewer lines at the rate that they're cleaning them, with the pressure that they're using, you're going to have some issues every now and then. And, they're used to that, obviously, because they do it all the time, but they've got a good program set up. A response program is excellent. So hopefully we'll keep those to a minimum. As of the same date, which was March 25th, Division 2, which represents Anderson Construction, that's work at the pump stations, manhole and point repairs, and some electrical work is about 60% complete. We're on schedule right now. Everything looks like it'll be completed in September, and we can start making payments. Hope everything will work. David Farley with HDLA, you'll recall, he stopped by pretty much to find out if the town was still concerned. We had a meeting with them, you may remember. They specialize in landscape architecture and land improvements to the area to promote curb appeal. They stopped by to inform me, and the mayor was there. that they had an opportunity that they would like for us to pursue, and I think we should. It's a grant opportunity that they may be able to, we may be able to use the funds to do our master plan, which is what we talked about in that meeting. So they think they can coordinate the actual grant and what the purpose of the grant is for our master plan. So I told him to go ahead and start the process, but I had to come to y'all tonight to get approval to apply on behalf of the town, and I'd like to get that if I can. Obviously, no cost to the town at this point. Find out if we can get a grant for the master plan. So if y'all are willing to do that, I'll inform you in the morning. Go ahead and proceed with that. A meeting was held not too long ago, last week, with Tessie. This is to begin discussion on possible solutions to blighted areas and buildings, and what the town can do to enforce current ordinances or develop new ones that will resolve what appears to be a growing number of issues within the town. This is an ongoing problem that's been going on for years, as you all know. I called the meeting myself because I felt like we really don't have an end to these type of problems. We address them, we send letters, we notify certain people that they have problems that need to be taken care of based on our ordinances. The problems are not resolved, and there has to be some closure. And I see in our town that it appears to me that it's getting worse. There are properties that are in dire need of some type of work. There are a lot of sheds and buildings that are behind the main structures that in some cases the roofs have collapsed. The buildings are deteriorated to a point where nobody can use them. So the purpose of the meeting was to get Tessie involved, to find out what our legal options were. I think it's pretty much a given that we've got most of the ordinances that we need to enforce. The problem is, how do you enforce it? Tessie came up with a couple of ideas, and she's looking into some of these areas include legal action. These are things that we obviously don't want to have to do. If we have to go in and make a repair or correction on a property, then how do we recoup our funds? There's got to be a way that the town can get its money back. And these are the things that we're working on. Obviously, there's more to come, and there will be a lot more discussion. And at some point, of course, in the near future, we'll involve council and find out how council feels about it. She talked about possibly garnishing wages from people if we have to spend money, judgments, forced sales on property. There has to be a conclusion to these things, and it's just going to be an ongoing issue. I think we're all in agreement that I think our town is very strong in the area of what we have, and we need to take care of it and focus on our streets and our housing and have a safe place to live. We're working on our infrastructure so that we've got that type of thing in place, and I see that as our future, and it's something that we just got to work on. Let's see. I did want to mention, we talked about cleanup week. That will be the week of homecoming. I don't think we've coordinated quite yet with the Kiwanis, but I think they're planning on that Saturday before homecoming, doing whatever it is they want to do. And we can certainly pick up on that Monday and help them with whatever they've done, if it's cleaning up or picking up trash bags or whatever it is. So that's going to take place then. One more thing I wanted to mention, this is important to me, it always is. Received a letter dated March 24th from the Virginia Department of Health Office of Drinking Water, congratulating our waterworks operators as recipients of the 2014 Excellence in Waterwork Operation Performance Award. This is a highly prestigious award, and it's not given out lightly by the department. John Rico and his staff should be congratulated for their hard work and diligence in seeing that our citizens have the safest, best quality water we can produce, and I think we do. They're consistently receiving accolades each and every year for their work, and we appreciate their efforts. And I've got the letter right here. I want to thank them for everything they do.
There's some kind of plaque or something that comes with that, or
Yeah.
can we get one for them?
There is one. Yeah. This is not the first time we received this award, and last year I think we won a silver award. I'm not sure the relationship between this award and that type of award, but like I said, they don't hand these out to everybody. I mean, you have to show that you're above and beyond, and that's what we are. So I'm very proud of that and very, very comfortable that we've got good water and it's safe, and we don't have to worry about, we take precautions. Sometimes we go overboard, as y'all know, when we have more water notices, but it's all in the interest of safety, and it's better safe than sorry. So I'm very proud of our group.
Rick, don't you got a copy of that?
And that's all I had, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions for the town manager?
I don't know. The fence behind the pump stations, were recommended, or they made us do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. I was wondering, 'cause I rode by there this morning. I figured that's why.
Safety and.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm on board, I was, you know,
Yeah, we put them around all of them.
I heard that we already had them, so I just figured that was part of the mandatory.
Those awards, where are they displayed?
I guess they're at the water plant. John has some at the sewer plant. So you can check that out. There's a presentation, and they never go because they're working. On April 22nd at the Sheraton Hotel.
Can you get one of the ones put in town hall?
That's what I was gonna suggest, that they could be displayed at least for a while.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think we can certainly do that.
Can we get one of them to go get the award? I mean, is that something we could do? Or are we willing to do?
Yeah.
Are they willing to
We
do?
could do that, but I don't know if they have time.
What I might suggest too is after the award is sent here, if maybe when it arrives, that we could call the newspaper and have them come and have the work department come and you present something, you know, with a picture in the paper, that, would be a nice way to
I
present
think
it
that's
to
a
the
good
public.
idea. We could have our own awards.
That's right. Mhm.
Absolutely.
It's a big deal, it's a big deal to them. It means
Yeah.
everything to them, and I can't tell you how conscientious they are about what they do, and nobody knows them. It's like the sewer plant, they're just as equally as conscientious about what they do, but they're behind the scenes and nobody knows what's going on. And it's so important to the town, and when you look at the budget, you realize how important it is. We've got good, strong operators that we just don't get in trouble with anything, and that's, that's what it's all about, and the bottom line is public, it's taking care of the public.
Any other questions? Thank you. Okay, moving on, town attorney's report.
Yes, and this expands on what Lee was just talking about. First, with regards to the just general blight issue, basically I see two different classes of ordinances that fight this issue. Number one is our dangerous building ordinance and the building code ordinances. And number two is the property maintenance ordinances, which include not only tall grass and weeds, but also junk, debris, things like that. With both of these ordinances, the monies that are incurred, the costs that are incurred by the town are enforceable the same way local taxes are enforceable. So what that means is that the town really does have in the laws as a leg up on collecting the money. you can force a sale of the property, and that's the general, way that most people think. But there's also a whole bunch of other things you can do. You can garnish people's wages without even having to go to court. You can garnish people's checking accounts, you can garnish people's, regular accounts, any bank accounts you can find, different things like that. So while the most standard way to, collect taxes that most people think of is selling the property to get it, there are other ways. The downside to selling a property is you have to wait 2 years. The property has to be delinquent for 2 years, whether it's in your lien for cost or whether it's in your lien for taxes, before you can put that property up for sale. Now, there are some properties, that have issues that are already at that point. And I am going to work with Jim Elliott to try to get him to put those properties back up for sale. But there's others, and with the maintenance ordinance too, that just aren't at that point. The other thing is, that's number one, the fee collection issue. Number two is the fact that while the town has the remedy of self-help, doing it, putting the cost on as a lien, the town also can do other things. For example, one of the things that is allowed with, specifically with, the tall grass and nuisance ordinance with the debris and things like that, the town can charge the person with a misdemeanor and take them to court. The other thing the town can do is charge that person civil penalties of a certain amount. So there are other routes that the town can pursue as well if, need be. So there are some other options to pursue. In terms of the grass and weeds, I know that's been an issue that Wade and I have talked about in some length. Just the issue is really, the town has to give, according to the ordinance right now, the town has to give a 10-day notice. Well, in order to be in violation, the weeds have to be, or the grass has to be 10 inches high. So by the time you reach 10 inches and then you have a 10-day notice, you've got a problem. So what we have talked about is, number one, lowering the length of the grass if we need to do that, because that way it'll give us a little more time. And then number two would be shortening the length of the required notice. And that would be a good idea. All the Virginia code requires is reasonable notice. Whatever the town requires is reasonable notice. So that's something that everyone may want to be thinking about. And then the third option we discussed was a blanket notice just to everyone. But I think that there are a few legal issues with that, and I think that we may be able to avoid that altogether if we can just shorten that notice period or shorten the length of grass.
You're referring to putting in the newspaper for everybody, right?
Yeah, or sending in the mail to everyone. And we could possibly do it. I think the Virginia code would allow it, but we do have to make some tweaks to our ordinance to be able to do that to pass muster. So, that's what.
One thing I failed to mention, I'm sorry, Judge, that we talked about was the possibility, that's, I'm gonna emphasize that, of hiring somebody and having an actual official that does the building code, that follows up on this type of thing that we're talking about now, because I'm not sure how much of it Tessie would have to do, or a person of this nature would be able to do the filing, to keep up with the dates and the times. It's just a thought at this point, because I don't know if it's justified in doing that full time.
Yeah.
Because we know the problems that we've had talking about the building code official. It getting them to do the things that we want them to do and how they interpret it. I mean, they have to be within the law, I realize that. I mean, we're still waiting on some other properties that we thought we had a resolution to, and we still don't. So, just a thought down the road. I'm not sure how much she would have to do, how much cost is involved, how we recoup all of this. I doubt very seriously we get it all back, but the dealer property is a good example. I mean, we've spent $20,000 up there, and we don't have any control over the property at this point. And my thing is, if we've got that much in it, we ought to at least have control of it and be able to put it up for sale and get what we can out of it, and enforce the town ordinances on the property. Because I see it as a potential problem like what we had before. Not to the extent, but you've got grass growing, you've got stuff being stored on the property. The next thing you know, we've got a similar situation, and I just, we gotta do something about that, I think.
And the person supposed to be enforcing this is the ordinance, what's, Ellison, right?
Not not that part of it, because, I guess it's been determined now that the county has control of that.
I wanna know who.
No.
No, Beeler still does.
Yeah, Beeler still owns that property. The town and the county have.
Tax liens.
I'm asking, who goes through town and sees these buildings falling down, or sees this junk in the back? Who's supposed to enforce that? Who's supposed to go up to them and say, you need to get this fixed or whatnot? You, the police department, or Ellison?
Yeah.
Ellison, or all three?
All the above.
All the way above. That's right. And that's the point of our meeting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You
I
know,
think,
I can go up and say, you're in violation and you need to.
and if we hire a part-time full-time, whatever, code enforcement, that'll eliminate two of y'all. I mean, y'all can still do it, but that would be his main, yeah. Yeah, because I don't want just to get a map
as a thought.
sent to Nottaway County to show them where Crewe, Virginia is, because obviously he hasn't been here.
Well, we would have to change our requirements in the ordinance to allow this person to be our building code
Yeah.
official. And they would have to be, if we use it for that, they would have to be qualified to do so, the things that he can do. He or she, it could be a he or she, it doesn't matter. You see, I think that's where you're gonna have trouble finding somebody with that kind of qualification.
But there are businesses that contract for that,
Yeah. And that's a possibility too. What I would prefer to do is have somebody that can follow up on, all of this stuff, and keep up with it, go to court, and, testify, be that type of person, if it's that big of an issue. And again, I see it growing, but I don't know if we're quite at that point yet for the size of our town. My main thing is to get it done, and get some of this stuff taken care of. I don't really care how it's done, or I have no personal feeling one way or the other, but when I see properties that, next door properties that are immaculate and their next door neighbor's not, that's not right.
Now, all these ordinances, they're equal, I'll say this, rental properties and homeowner properties, both of these ordinances are equal, right?
Yes.
So to me, that's 85% of the problem is rental properties.
Yeah, both of
And they will be the ones getting in trouble if their craft's not fixed, right?
It's actually,
landlord.
I believe, and I can double check on this, that it would be the owner and or the occupant
Good.
with rental properties. I'll double check on that though.
So that's, to me, that's my opinion, I'm probably rather council, but that's the majority of the problem, on rental property.
Both of them liable.
Yeah. And that needs to be addressed. I mean, if you own all these houses, you need to be able to enforce. I own rental property, and if it looks like trash there, I enforce it. As in, either you're getting out my house, or you want to start cutting your grass. And that's the way the rest of them need to be around here. That's my opinion on it.
We also discussed the possibility at one point of passing some type of ordinance where realtors who have property that's listed are responsible for that property. And
Good.
Jesse feels like we can't do
I don't
Good.
think we can do
it. We
it.
can't
Yeah,
do it.
but-
Well, so I'm gonna tell you what, gotta be ready, because I've always heard, you know, there's certain people you can't mess with around this town that are rental owners and, or landlords, and we're gonna nip that in the butt right now.
No,
So
she
that was the
was, she
old
was
days.
talking about, real estate agents that have their signs.
Yeah, I'm just
That-
talking about landowners, landlords, or whatever.
Mayor, I've got a couple questions for the town manager and or town attorney. Well, town attorney. You mentioned property has to be delinquent for 2 years in order to sell it.
That's correct.
Delinquent in any form of tax, so if one of these properties has been delinquent in taxes for 2 years, regardless of what action we may or may not take with it, it can be sold?
Yeah, well, if it is delinquent in taxes for 2 years, then yes, it could be sold.
Okay.
And the town could collect any liens it had against it.
But he
Okay,
said,
so
but
some of
she
these
said any
properties-
taxes, so if it was county taxes, we couldn't sell it just to get ours, because it wouldn't be 2 years.
But the county could.
Yes, the county could, but, right.
Okay, or if they're delinquent in taxes to the town.
Real-
Regardless of light violations, putting light violations
Yes.
aside, if they have real estate taxes that they haven't
Right.
paid to us for 2 years, we can,
Correct.
okay.
Correct.
Because I feel like some of these dilapidated houses may have delinquent taxes.
2 years, yeah.
My next question, for both of you, about 2-3 years ago, we sent letters to 5 property owners regarding blight violations. One of them was taken care
Mhm.
of. Just going through the list of the other 4, can you tell me where we are on each of those? The old theater.
I have one in my hand right here,
Okay.
and I'm gonna file that tomorrow.
Perfect, which one's that?
So this is Wilburn.
Oh, East Carolina.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, one of them, they said that there was nothing wrong with the house, right? The one
There
that's
was
mounted to
an
the side?
issue with one of them that they said that nothing was
I
wrong
mean,
with it.
even though it's leaning to the
Or
side.
that it wasn't.
They pointed out a lot of things that needed to be done, but they would not condemn,
Right, yeah, they pointed out things that needed to be corrected or fixed,
which creates a whole new set of problems.
yeah.
Okay, and that's, we're still talking about the same one in East Carolina.
That's Maryland.
This one's
Oh, that
over
one's
here.
Maryland. Okay, that was the one.
The leaning house is over here.
The problem with the theater, I think we have, that's condemned.
Yes,
We
Okay,
can take that down, but there's an issue with the wall
right.
and, you know, maybe a support wall for the adjacent building.
And the current owners still own it?
Yeah.
Have we asked them to give it to the town to save money? Would that benefit them, benefit us?
I'm sure, I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't know if I want it.
Well, it would make the process easier, I believe, wouldn't it?
Well, no,
No?
I don't think so. I think that the process, the problem is that built that wall. Because I've been told if we take that down, then it's gonna compromise the building next to it.
Okay.
Now, I don't know anything about
Now,
walls and that type of thing.
we've also discussed shoring up the wall and
Yeah,
keeping the,
but that
Solid.
was condemned,
okay,
so to answer that question.
okay. And then the building on West Virginia, next to Rogers and the antique shops.
We didn't know, we hadn't said anything on that yet.
Oh, then there's a 5th one that I'm missing.
I can't remember.
Okay, could we do something about the one on West Virginia with the roof collapsed inside? And
No windows and the door,
I was walking by it the other
Yeah,
day,
oh,
going to
terrible.
the ballpark.
yeah.
what's the address to
You walked in the back of it yet?
Anyone know the address? No, I'm afraid to.
Walk through the alley.
Right.
Side shop was good.
Are there, Tessa, is there grant, what is out there for these people to help them? I mean, some people just, I mean, they're in a property, they can't fix it. What is out there for them to do? I mean, is there grants out there they can go to? Is there Habitat to Humanity, can that help them?
Perhaps Habitat for Humanity could help them.
See, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Like Stevie pointed out, he's right, and people living in it, there's no question in my mind it's a dangerous building, but I also know that these people cannot afford to fix it.
And what do you do with them, you know?
Well, a dangerous building is a danger to everyone. It's a danger to the general public, it's a danger to the people living in it. That's why these, building codes exist, to protect not only everyone else, but the people inside of it too.
Well, that's where we're at, that's what you wanna do, but right now, you know, we know these people ain't got nowhere to go, and it's like, you know, we're in a lose-lose, win-win, whatever. Somebody,
Situation.
what do you do? And that's what I wanna know. I mean, I know these people, a lot of these people can't fix these houses that are, you know, owners of or whatnot. So is there ways that the town could help them, or, you know, when we do go to them and say, you need to fix this, give them a list saying, but these people here are willing to help you.
It may be worth contacting Chris Stain with the social services
Yes, and the
office.
community
Okay.
resources to
Right.
that. May also to go to some of the churches who are looking for mission projects and all.
Because I know a lot of it, and then at the end, we got also, a lot of people got pride and hard-headed. They don't want to do that kind of stuff, especially because this is
Well, the other side of the double sword here is that if we see it and we know about it, and in our heart, we feel like maybe we're gonna leave London and something happens to it,
yes.
then how do you feel about that? So,
Well, and it's not.
when you look at it that way, I think you've got to do something about it.
And you can't just pick and choose. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
something that is wrong is wrong.
And maybe, you know, maybe we're wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think, you know,
So,
I don't, you know, of course I want this property to look great.
But
That's
with the churches within the community, that could be a way to, you know, see, if they would, you know, as a mission project. I mean, you know, some churches go all the way around the world to do a mission project, when if they just open their eyes right around, you know, right round, they're right there to be, you know.
And take our neighbors in Blackstone, for example. They had an entire apartment complex condemned a few months ago, dead of winter, and these individuals had to find a place to live, and I think they had a little help from the faith community, and made it work.
Well, I know quite a few years back on council, when there was a building that we found that they, social services was willing to help that individual and actually had a place where they could go if the person was, you can't make anybody or force anybody, but the opportunity was there for this person to, you know, relocate.
That's what I'm just saying, as long as we have this literature to give them, to say, hey, this is, you know, because a lot of people just don't know, I didn't know that, but, you know, give this to them, hey, look, you need to fix your property, but here's what we're willing to do to help, and if you can't do that, then, I mean, then we gotta hurt people's feelings. That's
Phil,
all.
did you have anything else?
That's it.
Okay, do you have a recommendation on the grass length? You were the town manager, if the council later on wanted to.
Yeah,
you know,
I would defer to the town manager for the grass lawn, just as I don't.
I think I like the changing the days as opposed to changing the length, because, I mean, that's a matter of opinion in a lot of cases. I mean, a hopper grass that's this high, does that mean the rest of the yard is 10 inches high? It's, you know, it gets to be and we're not going out with a measuring tape and saying, 10 and a quarter, you know.
Yeah.
I like
Unless it don't rain.
It's a big problem. I don't know if y'all noticed already, we've got violations already. We've got a lot of people who just don't cut the problem.
As we continue on, then how many days would you suggest?
I like 3.
3 days notice?
I know that seems real quick, but
Yeah, we can do it. I will say, you know, some people may have arguments about it, but if they do, that's just something we'll have to take up in court. And if the judge tells us to change it, then we will.
We'll have to change the ordinance, we do 3 days, right?
That's correct.
maybe
So
we're
that
talking
might be
about
2 months.
5.
What's the current ordinance? I'd like to, maybe 7 days, that way they have a weekend in there. For individuals who
What I was thinking is that you've got the continuing business, if there was something the council could consider and maybe get the ball rolling on.
Okay, very good.
But again, we still got that issue of when we cut a yard and bill them and they don't pay. We need to do something about that.
And we got a lot to do, a whole lot.
And it may be, like Tessie said, if it's 2 years old, I know that sounds ridiculous, but you've got to do something to try to get that back.
Well, what is the law about it? If, say, for instance, we cut the grass this week, we send them a bill the first of the month, they don't pay it. How long can it be? Can we garnish it that way, just in order to get that money?
Yes, yes, you can. What would have to happen at that point, there's a certain period that it has to be delinquent, I wanna say 30 days. And then the town manager writes a letter that says, calling upon them, is the code calls it, to make the payment for taxes. And then saying, you know, if you don't make it in 15 days, I'm turning it over to the town attorney.
And who pays then your fee when you go to collect?
I would ask for it, my attorney's fees in conjunction with the collection. I would
Okay.
ask for it for them.
Okay, so it would not come off the town, so that's something too, that as we go into continuing business, you may want to give the town manager some authority if you so choose. Any other questions for the town attorney from the council? Okay, moving on to committee reports. First, let's start with community development.
Yes. And I have mentioned to you all that the Lipscomb Stratton Street renovation project, we will be meeting once a month. And so I will be telling you monthly what's going on. I referred back to the calendar. We've got, this was the plan. And I looked, and we've got like 6 pages of plans. And we've been talking now for a year. So it's here. And on May, let's see, we started on March the 1st, 2014. And now we're here at May the 1st. We will have, these are the timeline. This, and you will, this is very hard, and that's why this is so precise. And I have this, if anybody wants to refer to it, I'm going to scan both of these things because it's too much to get into, but if this is a thing that interests you. But right now, off the top, May the 1st, we have the applications are approved and ranked. The pre-qualification contractors are approved. The work write-ups for the first round are completed. That's for 4 houses we will be doing for you. So when y'all were talking about the houses that need help, we're going to get 4. Hey, it's not many, but we're on the way. And then the bid opening for the first round. Then June the 1st, just to look forward, the first round is under contract. That's about. Then you end up, and the last date on here is going to be January the 20th, 1916, and this is all complete. So it's going to be rolling. I mean, from now on.
What is 2016?
What did I say?
1916.
Don't, hey, I do this all the time. Hey, wait a minute. Rolling. Hey, did the young man catch it before anybody else? The rest of them see 19's not that far into them. Interesting. I wrote out a form several years ago. We had to sign our pay slips each time. And I wrote out Shirley Turnage and walked out of the room. Anybody that doesn't know, that was my maiden name. And they called me back and said, who is Shirley Turnage? I said, yeah, right. I've only been married about 25, 30 years. So I said, I didn't know what I was going to figure it out. Okay, back to business. January the 20th, 2016. I really would like to go back to that other day. But I will be keeping you up on it, and as it moves along, and I've told you it's a well-oiled machine, and you can see their plans and they're checking it off. And if something's not met, now near that time, this can be, is flexible because things happen. Y'all know about that, obviously. The other thing, the Nottaway Planning Council had a meeting, our first meeting in a year. And so there is a lot to be covered that was brought up to date. And this one is another one I will skim the top, and anything that you want to go back and hear more about it. They mentioned the local emergency management grant program. The last year the planning office applied for and received $7,500 under this emergency program through the Virginia Department of Emergency Management to purchase the automated texting and paging fax email system that the sheriff's office has requested. The sheriff's office will be getting their own address in the coming weeks to fix. They had a few problems with it. They're working on the problems, and this will be up and running. Good. Then the mapping grant. This is up and running, and the link can be found on the website in Nottaway County if you want to get into that. The police car grant, I thought you might like it. Nottaway County received a loan grant through the USDA to purchase 2 vehicles for the sheriff's office. The loan amount was for $21,000, and the grant was for $25,000. They applied, that was the first round. They are going for a second round, and now they're even in the process of a third round. So they're going after these grants that are bringing money into the area. Then interest, it's Piedmont Health District appointed to Spencer. And we've talked about that before. In case of an emergency situation, which could be anything, flood, sickness, anything that would cause us to need large quantities. Well, when the hurricanes come through, when the citizens need ice, you know, if your power's on hot summertime, that point of dispense. And so they've met with the Nottaway County High School complex, and this is the site that they plan to be on. And this will all be in place so that if we do have an emergency, you get all these things ready and hope that you never need it, but it is in place. Then the VDEM Regional 1 Functional Exercise and Evaluation Program. This exercise that they went to itself was a bike race that looped all through Region 1, impacting each and every county in some way. For example, they would have, if bombs were en route, and I think they're going back to the Boston bombing thing, which you have to have. There's a lot of nuts out there. And they mentioned our Crewe comprehensive plan that they're working with you all to get that arranged. The planning office has started creating the layout, making some corrections within the plan. Street signs. We had, the town of Crewe has contacted the planning office about the possibility of grant funding for the street signs, which we have discussed several times that we need this. The town of Blackstone submitted their application for these these way-finding signs, directional signs, back in 2008. And they're just receiving their funding. So I think this is kind of bleak. I mean, our signs, what, 8? That's a long time. Then the body cameras, which I was pleased because we already have body cameras, don't we? Well, but there was discussion for the sheriff's office trying to get a grant for this. And the sheriff's office is currently reviewing information regarding the different types of cameras, the software that will be needed to operate the cameras. Once the information has been reviewed by the sheriff, Kelly Curd will send out an agreement for us to sign to do a 30-day trial. They'll get that and then see how it all works and have to work out the kinks. The Code Red is still on the agenda with the planning office. And of course, we have our own Code Red, which it mentioned that most of the towns do. Well, the sheriff's office, and this would be things, and possibly revert back to the dispensary area that I was speaking of. Severe weather, hazardous material spills, floods, missing children, elderly people with life-threatening medical conditions, prisoner escapes, criminal activities. The town of Blackstone and surrounding counties have similar programs in place. There are currently a few grant programs available for this type of systems. Then our Crewe Police Department is asked for the help of the Nottaway Planning Office. The Crewe Police Department would like help in finding grants and applying for grants to purchase not only equipment that may be needed for the officers, but for furniture and other equipment for the new police department. There were other things in there, and like I said, if you have a point of interest and you want to refer to this, or I can get you the information.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Dalton? The council voted for chairpeople and vice chair, and Ms. Dalton is vice chair of the Nottaway Planning Council for the next 2 years. So I'm really proud of her. Congratulations. Yes. So, and also on the helping the police department with obtaining grants, that was voted on by all members, and it passed that they were willing to. I have to say that on the Code Red, the county wasn't as forthcoming in the cost. And
Every stop forthcoming.
and all that, you know, and we tried to encourage about what we found, that, you know, how beneficial it was. Of course, a lot of us within a community with water and all, the county doesn't have those situations and all, but based on a per citizen price, they really were concerned about, you know, putting that in a budget, so.
We really can join in as a community. And as he mentioned about everybody plays a part in all government. The people play a part. And if we all work together, the puzzle pieces do come together. And that Code Red, letting the people know what's going on. I know there was a child missing last week, and information got out like that. That child wasn't gone. And I think, what is it, the first 2 days is the most important, 24 hours or something from the time something happens to notification. Is that close? 48 hours, in 19 and 20.
And Mayor, it may be something that that the planning council wants to consider, or the various law enforcement. A lot of these things like Code Red or another vendor is Everbridge. They have the ability to coordinate with each locality. So rather than each locality having one, there's one countywide system that you can then zero in on different locations in different areas. So it may be beneficial for everyone, more cost effective if we all come together as a county and explore that. So it may be something that everyone wants to look at, rather than everyone doing their own thing and putting up their own silos, actually coming together on things.
It's always a good thing.
Absolutely.
And that is sometimes people in general have difficulty coming together. We focus so much on the small issues, what's really important, without looking at some of the big things. And I think that's what we're trying to do, is look at some of the big issues.
Any other comments? We'll move on to economic development.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. And thank you for Bill for his presentation, and thank you to everyone who attended the tourism event. As was mentioned, Sandra Tanner sent me its few dozen pages of everything that was accomplished. I'm meeting with her next Tuesday to go over all of this and explore a possible grant opportunity for some tourism-related grant. So I'll look forward to that next meeting. I'll have a report on that and possibly a way forward. I don't know how many of you get VML emails, but they have a webinar series, and also it was also advertised in the recent VML magazine. They're calling it the 324 infrastructure series, and 324 refers to the 324 localities in Virginia, and it's about becoming more economic development friendly for millennial generation and such. I haven't actually watched the webinar yet, but I'm excited to. And it's the recording's online, so just I can send that out to everyone who wants to view that. But feel free to watch that on your time. The Economic Development Committee meeting is going to be rescheduled for next month. Normally it's the first Wednesday of the month. I'm actually going to an economic development summit in South Hill that one of the groups is putting on, which will be all day. And so I'm going to move that meeting to May the 11th at noon at, is Providence open on Mondays?
No.
Providence is not. Diamond Crewe is not.
Problems ain't
At-
on Monday.
Hmm?
They usually close on Sunday, they're open on Monday.
They're not open on Sunday.
Mimo's isn't open
Oh,
on
that's
Monday.
right.
Providence is open on Sunday now.
Yeah, they're 24, well, 7 days a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Mimo's.
Okay, Bravos. I will be at Bravos at noon, because Diamond Crewe is closed on weekends, and that's where we generally meet. So, plan for that. And as I mentioned, there's an economic development summit in South Hill for rural localities. You may have gotten emails about that. If not, I can send you the information if anyone's interested in attending with me. It's actually May 6th and 7th. I'm already off on May 6th. I can't take off the 7th. So if anyone wants to go on May 7th as well, there's that. And there's a dinner the evening before on May 5th in South Boston with Secretary of Commerce and Trade Maurice Jones. So if anyone's interested in attending that, let me know. The month of May will be, once again, a Business Appreciation Month. So look forward to different announcements from the governor's office and such on Business Appreciation Month, and go out and appreciate your businesses during the month of May. I'm sure the chamber can put something together real quick for maybe an email.
Thanks, Phil.
Real quick.
Real quick. Also, speaking of appreciating people, April the 22nd, next Wednesday, is Administrative Professionals Day. So be sure to stop by the town office and thank our administrative professionals, Tiffany, Norma, and Beverly, for all the hard work that they do on April the 22nd. Earlier this month, we've been following the status of HB 2303, which is the sexually violent predator bill that requires VCBR to notify localities when an SVP is released. That has been signed by the governor and will become law on July 1st. So great job, everyone, for your effort on that. Just something to look forward to in the future. I just got this today from the library. During the Civil War, there was a Bible in Nottoway Courthouse that was that will be back in the area in September, and the library's putting on a program. I could send this around. I only have one copy, but that's something to look forward to in September. A piece of Nottoway history coming back to Nottoway. It's currently in the possession of the Library of Virginia.
Will it be displayed at the library?
I am
Or
not
will it travel? I
truck
think
left.
So, yeah, maybe, okay, we've got enough time.
But that's in September. That's yeah, we've got plenty of time. Finally, one thing I wanted to pass around, show everyone one of my projects. I asked Tessie to Tessie sent me all of the process for condemning a house and for blight any kind of blight violation. And I took what the narrative she sent me and created a flow chart, the final version will be much bigger and much more readable. But essentially, this is the, and she marked it up for me too. So essentially, this will be because I'm a very visual person, and when I say, you know, where are we in the process, we can just point to one of these and say, this is where we are. It's like, okay, well, then we have this much farther at most until we have a resolution. So hopefully, this will be a you're all good. It hurt your eyes.
No, don't try
This is a nightmare.
No wonder we never did take so long.
Well, it's actually a very linear process, and depending on where it ends, each of those octagons is an end point.
What are you gonna do for your next trick for us?
I don't know where it starts.
It starts up in the corner.
Oh.
Gotcha.
But anyway, that's and like I said, once it's done, and once I'll have it printed out and much bigger and in color, so we can have it in the town office, so the town manager can easily see where we are in the process, how many days left, and go from there. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, moving on to facilities and parks and recreation. Steve?
Oh, look at my map. Short and sweet. Open ceremonies was this past Saturday. Really nice. The field is excellent. I helped out a couple times. Sean Crawley did all of that work. A lot of people donated time and money to that place. Next year, of course, the grass will be better. I'm not saying it's bad now, but it's going to look a whole lot better next year once the new grass starts getting settled and taking root and stuff like that. The East Egg Hunt, the police department was great. Rode by there. I didn't get to go by there, but I rode by there, and it looked really fun. I talked to Miss Martin, and she said it was a great success. And Babe Ruth sign-ups was this past Saturday and next couple of weekends. So make sure the older kids sign up, and we'll give them something to do during the summer. And that's teenagers. I get a lot of complaints about there's nothing for teenagers to do. There is, they just don't do it. So here's baseball. They can go out there and sign up.
So they're changing from Dixie Boys to back to Babe Ruth?
No. Well, yes.
Yeah, is that in conjunction with Blackstone too?
Yes.
It's gonna be like the two
It's going to
recs?
be Nottaway, I think. The way it was last year was Nottaway,
Yeah, it's
countywide. Art's son played, my son played, all of them. I think we had 3 teams, and we played outside towns and stuff like that. So
They're talking about actually expanding it this year and having 16 to 18-year-old.
what would be great is they bring back the the American Legion League.
Well, that used to be American Legion 16 or 18.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was
Okay. That's cool.
years
All right.
ago.
That's all I got.
Okay, any questions? Ms.
Yes.
Dalton?
Well, I have a comment, or I heard a rumor, that the opening ceremonies, the mayor threw a pitch, a strike. And I thought that should go on record.
You see the second page?
I did much better with the baseball pitch than the softball.
Yes.
It was hard to change up so quickly. It was.
Change up.
I thought you were feeding the seagulls.
I thought it was great.
Get
but I
James out in
didn't
the
know.
backyard and practice with you.
But you did great, Sally.
Thank you.
You and,
Thank you. Okay, any other?
She has no
We'll move
skills.
it on. Move on. Finance.
The only thing to report is that with the expenditures and the revenues, that Wade is doing a good job this thing with the budget.
And the auditors have been in this past month, and with 3 days, I believe they were in, and we'll find out the results, but,
I
yeah.
didn't get any signals.
It was smooth.
No news is good news.
That's right.
Okay, moving on, Public Works and Infrastructure.
Well, the only thing that I have, well, I got a couple things. Is the Kiwanis are gonna do this cleanup, and the way I understood it's gonna be the second week, like on a Saturday. I still have to get with, Mr. Nate and, Mr. Williamson on that. We're supposed to schedule a meeting between now and the first of the month. They're gonna try to get the ROTC and some other groups, to blend in with the cleanup and all that stuff. And, once I get hold of him, which, we won't meet for the, well, we will meet for it. Okay. And the next thing was that, Phil gave us a thing about the 911 signs, about reamping the, street signs. And, from what I can see, cost-wise, there's no way we can afford it. And plus, I think Wade had checked with Nottaway as far as grants. And right now, I don't think there's any grant money available for that.
Part of Mr. Ferret,
Yeah, the master plan.
the master plan, he said that he felt he could put that in the master plan. So-
Oh, okay, very good. And another option to look at to save on costs and keep the signs the way they are, if there's some sort of reflective paint, just, would that
Yeah.
That'd be a whole lot better.
be, looking at public safety, would that be beneficial?
No.
Well, the signs are in such bad shape now that, it's hard to even see the writing on it.
Right.
And that's one reason the county went to these reflectorized signs, the town of Blackstone went to them. And, it just needed to be readable,
Right.
so we know what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
They seem to indicate, David, that group, that they could come up with a designer type, because I told them that a lot of people like our old signs, and I think his comment was that we could do something similar. So I envision maybe a combination of both.
Okay. Very good.
For your information on the street signs in Blackstone that they applied for and all, the information here was that the company was called Norman, and the signs are $43.30, the poles are $25, and then the miscellaneous parts per pole would be $5 to $10 for that.
If I'm not mistaken, Blackstone signs were only directional signs.
Okay.
They did not get street signs.
Okay.
Well, the ones up in Appomattox look real good. Theirs is the Civil War.
Right.
But other than that, it's
Okay. Anything else, Robbie?
no, ma'am.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, personnel.
Well, again, congratulations to John Rico and his crew for that award, and I really hope that we can display those where the public can see them and give them some positive publicity. I think people have the perception, misperception, that the water came out, that water was a problem in our survey, and I think we need to get the word out there so that we can relieve people's minds about that. I want to thank Tiffany for helping me with my recent unpleasantness that weighed with the sewer project. We had a little bit of a backup at the Stinson place, but Tiffany really helped me right away in my panic, and Mr. Eubanks at Tri-State was completely professional and very helpful and helped us get through it without too much further stress, so that was great. And I congratulate Tiffany and Councilmember Sisk on the upcoming nuptials. Right?
Wait till that happens.
He's so excited.
That's a thing.
Any questions, personnel? Okay, public safety.
Don't really have anything to report, I just want to ask you one question in reference to your email.
Okay. I didn't know whether he was looking at you or what.
In reference to your picture at the ballpark, I wasn't able to be there, but I would have thought that your husband Jim would have, being as he used to be a high school pitcher, that there
Well,
would
now
be
you
any
get-
doubt that you couldn't throw a strike.
Well, now, I did with the baseball, But you've got to realize he hasn't been able to practice.
All right, well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
But I don't have any report on that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, going on, any question of the safety committee? Okay, the town of Crewe comprehensive plan.
Well, we are making strides. We met again with Kelly Lewis, and we fine-tuned some of the wording in our goals and so forth, just to make them, we followed some of her suggestions. I will be meeting with her Wednesday of this week so that we can make plans to continue with the other parts of the plan that she's going to help us with. It is truly my ambition to be done with this by July 1st so that we can approve it at the July meeting. I thought we were going to have it by January 1st, so, but you have to have a target. And we have to be flexible. I'm convinced it's going to be a wonderful plan when we're finally done, and something that will be workable for the next 5 years. So I should have another report of the progress on the other parts with the history and so forth. And thank you for those of you who have given me input. She has all of that, and we're going to meet Wednesday and decide how to proceed.
At our Nottaway Planning Council, she commented that our plan is quite unique to the other typical plans that she is putting together, and Nottaway will be starting this year, and so Burkeville will be working on theirs. So they were interested in hearing about our uniqueness. Also, we thank you.
Check back in 5 years
Yes.
and see how our campus went.
Okay, moving on to police chief's report.
I've got one thing tonight, pretty major thing. I think the time has come for council to strongly consider the construction of a new police station. The current facility lacks the basic needs of today's law enforcement agencies. The most important basic requirements of the police department is security and privacy. There is no security whatsoever in our current facility. Security is needed for victims and offenders as well as the officers. Victims and offenders should never cross paths while inside the police station, and there is no way to prevent this in our current facility. Victims should feel free, safe, and secure while speaking with officers, and not have to look over their back every time a door opens to see who's coming through. Offenders should also feel secure when they're under arrest and not have to worry about retaliation from family members or friends while they're in our custody. We currently work in one room that is shared by the secretary from 8 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. during the week. This one room serves as an interview room, evidence processing room, report writing room, training room, break room, records room, and booking room, just to name a few. This type of facility may have been sufficient 25 to 30 years ago, but with today's law enforcement needs, it is no longer that case. Today, more than ever, officers are required to follow strict guidelines when dealing with suspects, victims, and evidence to ensure the proper outcome of cases. It is a daunting task, sometimes even impossible for officers to follow these guidelines due to our non-existent security measures. The Town of Crewe Police Department has reached a time when a new facility is no longer a want but a necessity. Officers need the proper tools to conduct their duties effectively and efficiently. A new police station is part of the tools they need. These are just a few reasons behind the need for a new facility, and I could go on and on about the insufficiencies within our current station. I would like to ask for the support of Town Council in moving forward with the planning and eventual construction or renovation of a new facility. The first step that we need to take with this project is looking at hiring an architectural consultant. An architectural consultant will conduct a site feasibility study, complete a formalized space needs analysis, and develop a preliminary budget. With that being said, I'm asking for permission to advertise for an architectural consultant to accept bids. I'm not asking for any money at this time, but I am asking to see what's out there and what kind of offers we get.
Council have any questions right now?
We gave y'all, well, I didn't say we gave y'all, but we brought this up before with the fire station, the old fire station. Right,
Yes.
and have y'all even started, I mean, is this just what you want to get this guy or female, whoever does it, to look into,
Yes,
the old fire station?
yes, they will look into any type of renovation, such as the old fire station or even maybe a possible add-on to where we're currently at. They will explore all the options.
I think as we're talking about blight, finding one of these older buildings that are currently vacant and being able to renovate that into what we need would be a better option, because it would give you what you need and it would eliminate an empty vacant building. So I would lean more towards that if possible, but I guess it's all up to the architect.
Well, it would ultimately be up to council. What the consultant would do, would give you the options. Saying, this is what we can do, if you want to go this route, this is a projected cost and what will have to be done.
Do we have an estimated cost on architects?
I do not. I have a ballpark figure that I've gotten off the internet from 5 or 6 years ago, but I don't want to put that out there. If that's not the case.
How much was it then?
For a department about our size, it was about $20,000 to $25,000. But the consultant will be from start to finish. They will be from the start of the project to evaluating your needs, to evaluating the blueprints, all the way through until construction is complete. So it will be a fee that would be paid, that they would be with us along the whole ride.
What would our obligation be if you put it out for bids and they come and give us their estimates and maybe several scenarios, and then we just can't afford it?
You just can't afford it.
And you just can't afford it, and we're not obligated to them
No.
financially.
Basically, the initial cost would be for the advertising, correct?
Yes.
Getting the word out of what, we are looking for.
Yes.
And as you explained it to me too, it could be that they say that, you are fine where you're at for where we are located in this town, this is what,
That's very
that
possible.
could very
They could
well
come
be
in
one
and
of the
say
options,
that
yes.
the facility we are currently in is sufficient.
But your suggestion is, right at this point, is to get permission to get an architect in here to see what we actually can do, what we have to do with it.
What I'm asking at this point is to put it out there to accept bids for an architectural consultant, not to hire one.
So all we're at is the cost of advertising.
Right,
Right.
yes, to find out just what the cost of this would be.
Absolutely.
I make a motion that we accept.
Second?
Okay. It has been moved and seconded to allow the police department to put out advertisement for an architect to evaluate the police department in its current state and where it may possibly be.
It's feasibility, is that feasibility statement?
Yes. Okay. Any
At no
questions?
charge. At no
The
charge.
only other thing, does DCJS have any resources to come out and evaluate current existing structures?
No, it would have to be done by an architect.
And they don't have any architects on staff?
We've actually been trying to go that route for the past 6 or 7 months.
Right.
And every time we try something different or take a turn, it runs right back to the architect.
When the library did their renovation, they had to start with an architect because the public is involved and you have to
Absolutely.
meet the requirements, all the requirements for any public that, building is open to. Okay, we have a motion on the floor and
Let
it
me,
has been moved and
could I ask one more question?
Mhm.
If we want to move on this, is there any grant money at all for these type of facilities?
There's no grant money for construction. There is grant money for equipment and furnishing the building, but none for construction.
So more or less for buildings, nothing for renovation or anything?
Nothing.
And we're positive about that.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to allow the police department to pursue through advertising a bid for an architect. It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, anything else from the police chief?
Just, no,
Go ahead.
one quick question. This run that we're planning, did you have a chance to look at numbers for?
No, I haven't.
Okay, no, that's fine. I guess we can work it out with the town manager or,
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I'll get with you by the end of the week.
okay, great, and I guess we do have a meeting in 2 weeks. And we need any sort of counsel.
Okay, moving on to the mayor's report. If any of you during the week of Easter had a chance to go around town, and if you happen to go over to the cemetery, our town employees have done an outstanding job with getting the cemetery in just beautiful order before, the Easter holiday. And I think that's becoming a little more challenging because it seems that people are personalizing the graves so much more with all kinds of little trinkets and memorabilia that means, something to the family.
Which they're not supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's making the job harder, but the town has really worked very, very hard. It was so pretty. I mean, my husband would say it's a cemetery, but it was looking very, very nicely. They're very well groomed. And I want to thank them for that. I want to also thank the Crewe Burkeville Rec Department and the police for having the community Easter egg hunt. This was the 3rd year, and I just think it's a nice opportunity for our youth. And I think adults participated in it too. That was because somebody I met had won a little prize or something, and they were so excited on that. And I think that's just a nice thing for our community to have carried off, and we thank both groups for that. The opening ceremonies last Saturday. If you weren't there, I tell you, you really missed something. Those children out on the field with all the colors of their uniforms and the sponsors and all the hard work. I mean, I thought the ballpark inside was absolutely beautiful. And when we were having the national anthem and had the ROTC there with the American flag, and then you saw the 3 American flags flying in from the flagpoles in the background, that was absolutely beautiful. And I think there were over 200 children that are playing these sports, and then the commissioner was telling me that through Babe Ruth, they hope to reach another 100 at least. So that means 300 youth within Nottoway County are out getting exercise, fresh air, and it means parents, grandparents, or someone is taking their time and making sure those children are there, and it's great for role models and all. And if you don't know what to do, you see the lights on at the fields, even at practice, go over and cheer them on. I just am so proud of all. I mean, it has to be thousands and thousands of hours that have already gone into just this city. And we have tournaments coming up in the summer. And this helps our economy. It is a win-win situation for everybody. And anybody who says there's nothing to do just hasn't looked over there at those fields. Because there's something somebody can do at any age, even if it's just watching to cheer them on. I want to remind people here at the table, and you all out there know that we have a curfew for children under 18 or youth under 18, that from 11 p.m. to 5 in the morning, unless they are accompanied by an adult who is in charge. If you read, I don't say a family member, it just can't be a girlfriend or boyfriend who's a year older and all. They need to be off the streets. We do have that curfew, and I have asked the police department to please try to enforce this because this is the time of season where it gets warm. And if we give a little inch now, by the time the end of summer comes, they will take a whole mile. Also with this, the parks, both the playground over here and the walking paths and all close at dark unless there is a formal event going on. And then when that event's all over and the lights are out, the people should be out of there, and the police have a right to to move them on, because we want people to be where they should be, not just where they want to hang out. Taxes, our town taxes are due April 15th. Our good old Uncle Sam, and also Crewe town tags are due. So all automobiles, anything that basically that has wheels on, such as your automobiles, trucks, your motorcycles, your motor vehicle, motor vans.
Motorhome.
Thank you. They all need to have it. If they are housed in the town of Crewe, they need to have a town sticker, and I have notified the police that I expect them to be checked and all that. You know, they have a law by the state of Virginia they have to comply to, but that if we, and you have to buy them, so should everybody else, because it does not, it's not fair. It's just not fair. Another thing that I want to emphasize, and we've talked a lot about this, we've talked about buildings, and Wade brought it up, that on these buildings that aren't maintained, this also includes sheds, and it includes fences, and it includes man-made structures around homes. And I see an awful lot of sheds here lately that may have, you know, part of the walls down, part of the roof off and all, and that is a derelict building too. And we will be, you know, looking at these. I mean, that can be considered a nuisance. And you know, you have a beautiful house there, and you can have things falling down around you and all. And I know money is tight for people, but you've got to at least maintain a safety thing about it. And you know, we will be looking into them. And that is all that I have. If anybody has any questions for me, I'll move on to new business. And I had put on there the budget. I wanted you all to realize that the budget had started. I know some council people have asked about the budget for next year. And we will have a work schedule on April 27th at 7 p.m. with the budget. And along with that, will we need anything with the comprehensive plan?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that will be a budget working session. Okay, any other?
I get one thing about the Kiwanis. The Kiwanis has asked for the town to assist in some ways in helping with the cleanup on that, which they're going to be working on this Saturday. And I was talking to Wade, which we don't work overtime on it, but I think the town we need to get approval for the town to help with some of this cleanup.
Okay. That weekend?
Well, we can't work that overtime, but we want to assist them in any way we can to this, for what all they're going through, or the number of people they're trying to get out. So.
Will they have a better plan as we get to our May meeting, so that we know more specifically
They
what
might
we
be
would?
doing it. They might be doing it that. I'm not trying to think. I think they might be doing it the weekend before that. Then again, they might not.
Well, at the
Right.
At the workshop, could we discuss
Yeah,
that?
let's do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
is that all right, that if, figure out what exactly the best way the town can help them?
Yeah. It was just a question.
Yes, sir.
If we let some of the town employees off, like on Friday, could they work Saturday straight time, or was that considered overtime? Regardless if they work 4 days during the week and 1 day off?
Yeah.
If they're willing to volunteer to do that.
That's the big if.
Yeah. I understand.
You're running into the issue of being on call.
Yeah. Sometimes you can volunteer, you gotta do man.
I think we need to know exactly what they have in mind.
You pay good.
Yeah.
Yeah. think we need to know what they want to do.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna meet with, I'll get Al and I'll meet with Mr. Nathan and, Mr. Williams.
They're gonna clean up an area and leave trash bags out, and we'll pick them up
That's right.
Monday morning. Stuff like that, yeah.
Well, they're trying to get like the ROTC maybe to help, maybe some other clubs to help and stuff like that.
And the police department may want to see if there's any individuals who are in need of community service. I know last year the chamber had a cleanup, and one young man was on community service and did a great job helping us. I believe there was a young man out there
Young
too.
man with us.
Right, with that. So that may be another,
It's Christmas light, I'm sorry.
another free ride,
Oh,
yeah.
the Christmas light, yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Speaking of cleanup and such, grass and sidewalks, since grass is getting to grow now. Does the street department have a plan for keeping that maintained? I know that was one of the other big complaints in the comprehensive plan was grass running the sidewalks. I mean, we all understand that sidewalks are old, but just keeping
Throughout
up
town?
as, yes.
No, we don't.
Okay, is it possible to start that?
Yeah, so that's the homeowners has to do that. That's part of the ordinance. Just like the alleys, even though they don't even own the alleys, you got to maintain half the alley.
So when
Am I
we cleaned
correct?
up the sidewalk from one end of town to the other one, Virginia, that was, I mean, what was that? That was the same thing he's talking, I mean, is that what he's talking about? You just
No,
talking about
I'm
Virginia?
I'm just
He's
talking about
the whole
the
town.
grass and the cracks in the sidewalks, wherever you are.
Can we do it and then send a bill to the state since it's their property? I mean, it's their property and, you know, well, when we put a hole in the road, we had to fix it, right?
Yeah, we
And we,
in there.
out of our own money, so,
If you go to renew a sidewalk in front of your house, you're supposed to get a permit from VDOT to do that too. We just found out in the last
yeah, I
year.
understand that, but I mean, if VDOT wants us to fix the street, well, then I think we need them to fix the sidewalk.
So
We gotta do a little levy in
nevertheless,
town.
is there a way to keep those sidewalks?
I don't know, Phil, that's a big undertaking. I don't know if we got the manpower all the time, I'd have to look into
It's
it.
gonna cost a lot of money.
We did Virginia Avenue because of its appearance.
Yeah, and I understand that. That's what I didn't know.
We
if
did
you
not
were
go
gonna-
in downtown, we did downtown, and we'll continue to do that, but as far as town-wide,
Well, maybe just just Main Street, Virginia Avenue, Carolina,
we can do that,
what is it? Not Tyler,
yeah,
the one
Down
going
the 2 blocks.
past the church.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep.
A couple more pieces of new business real quick. The VML Regional Supper on May the 20th. Is anyone going to that? In Farmville. It's the same one that we went to last time.
And it's the same topics.
When is
It
it?
It is the
and there
same
is some-
topics, yes.
It's now a wrap-up
Yes.
of legislation. That's May the 20th, which we have next meeting.
Yeah, there is a chart up on the little bulletin board in my office that has all the various ones and the various topics. They differ from area to area, but it ends up that we have, it's the same topic as what we went to last fall, and that's a shame, because that's a wonderful place to go and all, and it's a shame they didn't rotate the topics.
Right. And then my last piece of new business, in my official capacity, but outside of council, I'm hosting a Freedom of Information Act event for all elected officials. The town of Blackstone's on board, the Board of Supervisors are on board, school board not so much yet. And I haven't talked to the town of Burkeville. But essentially what this is bringing together all the local elected officials and just getting a refresher on FOIA and our responsibilities and to promote transparency and open government. We have it preliminarily scheduled for Wednesday, May 13th. Assuming approval from the school board, it'll be in the mini auditorium that evening. And I think I sent everyone an email regarding all of that. several weeks ago, but since our last meeting. So if anyone has any questions, let me know, but hope to see everyone out there. Because again, there are issues that confuse all of us and maybe catch us all up on FOIA. There's also the perception of it. If local leaders are going out to these events and learning more, the public sees us learning more and knows that we want to be more open, a more open, more transparent government.
Well, in the FOIA, the public's invited to this, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right, it's a public event. I know the Mayor Blackstone, who's also the editor of the paper, is very excited about it as well.
What time is it? 7 o'clock?
Probably 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, and I don't know if I mentioned a subject matter expert on FOIA. The director of the FOIA Council has agreed to come out and brief everyone and answer any questions we have, answer any questions from the public on all of these issues.
Okay, any other new business? Okay, continuing business. I have it down here, the zoning ordinance changes in the residential area.
Give it, Tiffany's got some more stuff she wants to add.
We're still,
Still in
Okay.
limbo with that.
Okay.
Month from today.
Anything
mean,
else having to add to that?
she's answered, and she's got some ideas, and we've just got to get it to council and go through it, and then decide what needs to happen.
Maybe we can have it by the work session.
Okay. Okay. The second thing I have on here is the HDLA grant possibility. Does council feel like they can act on this ability to allow them to do a grant for us? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we allow HDLA to pursue for us a possible grant. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion is carried. Okay, and the third thing that I put down was the signs and house numbers. We've been discussing this, and I spent a good part of the morning trying to look it up in our code book. Some way, I'd say 7, 8 years ago on the TV station, I had made a page that runs continuously that we had, that we needed 4-inch letters posted on our buildings. Now, I cannot find where we got that from at that particular time. I don't know whether it was something the fire department recommended, whether we had something at council we discussed, but I know we had been talking about the need for our houses to have something uniform. And I was wondering if any of the council has any input into it.
Well, I think we all need signs on the house, well, the number.
Right.
Number on the house. But what I brought up earlier was the 911 address, which is the street address. But that's something that really needs to look into, that you gotta have some type of fixed sign, something like that, whether it's in your yard or on your house. That's the way it was brought to me.
You know, well, how do we want to pursue this? Who do we want to have, if you want to pursue it, who do you want to have? Do you want the town manager? I think the town manager has expressed to me he needs to know specifics of who's going to do what, so he knows how to move ahead on issues. Not just this one, but on any one. So that's what I'm asking you. Do you want him to investigate? Do you want a committee formed?
I think, Tony, it's pretty much addressed at you, hasn't it? Right?
Well, I mean, what we need to know here is, are we gonna make some sort of ordinance that's mandatory that all houses have numbers on them and the specifics of the numbers as far as, and you gotta be specific, I think, visibility, and even color and height and that type of thing.
I would even go so far as location too, to make that uniform, so you look at the same spot every time.
Yeah, and obviously, we probably would have to have Mr. Booth, Mr. Wilson, and somebody from the emergency squad to get their input, right?
I would like that, yeah. And think about anything that we might be missing as far as what needs to say, if we feel like we should enforce that. one thing to say, we'd like for you to have them, and we prefer they be 4 inches, and it's a different thing to say, you have a public hearing, you put it in the ordinance.
If you all want, I can research exactly what you all can and can't do in terms of making things mandatory, what you can, and maybe even find some example ordinances that we could have.
That's what I would.
Yeah, definitely. Do that first.
Does everybody agree with that, that we let our lawyer to get the basic information first of what is legal to do? Okay. The next thing was the crosswalk and VDOT's 6-year, VDOT's Nottaway 6-year plan. I know that Councilman Phil had brought this up, that you were going to ask, I believe, the Board of Supervisors?
Yes, and at their last meeting, they brought it up. I got a response from the county administrator. In response to your recent letter to our office, I submit the following. Your request for VDOT assistance was presented to VDOT officials at our March 19th board meeting.
Okay.
There we have it.
The,
No response yet, but we'll, no further response, but I assume it'll be brought up at the next board meeting, which I cannot attend on Thursday,
This coming Thursday.
this coming Thursday.
I think it's not much.
Okay. The Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Transportation has sent me a letter. It was dated April 3rd, 2015. And they are having around the state various meetings on the 6-year plan. And if you cannot attend, it's going to, our closest one is, it's Thomas J. Fungum Conference Center. And you can email or mail them your request. So what I was wondering is if we also would like to have the town manager email a request about the crosswalk to make sure it's not lost and it's not forgotten. Might be, a possibility, because they have, requested that we can send comments to it.
That'd be great, and they already have the plan, because they sent me the study. They sent me the study. The other thing I'll mention about that, I just got an email today about a possible grant opportunity for improving walkability for communities. So that may be an alternate route to go. I can look into that more as well.
Well, this one has a deadline. The meeting starts May 5th at 6
Well, let's go ahead and send that to them,
Okay, so
and
the town, but we will have the town manager
dual prong approach.
send and it can be done either email or written, okay. Along this line, I was wondering, we had a tragic accident on Saturday evening up at Melody Lane and Route 49. And Chief Booth, the speed limit there is what?
55.
Is 55. And I was wondering if maybe you all thought that we may want to think about that speed limit there. That might be something, because it is within the town limits, isn't it?
Yes, the speed limit is 55 all the way to the stop sign.
And if a request, because
Seriously.
VDOT has to change speed limits, we can't. And I was wondering that due to, with this accident and all, and with this coming up, that if you all had any desire to have that speed limit brought down, that it would be a time to request it.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, especially with every other part of town it is, and that's.
Right, especially coming into town, because if it's 55 going all the way up to the stop sign, that's
Okay.
contrary to everything else in town.
Right, would anybody like to put that in the way of a motion?
So,
It has been moved that the speed limit,
Does this require, I'm sorry, point of clarification, does this
Okay.
require a
do we,
hearing, public hearing?
Well, I mean,
we're
we
not
could
able
do
to
it the same way that we did it as far as put the signs up on the west end of town anyway. We can put in a request that we think that it needs to be changed there. What they'll do is send somebody come out and do a study on it. And they'll
Okay,
say,
so they'll
we'll
do
it or
everything,
we
and
won't.
then we'll,
If you would like us to do that, we can take care of it.
Okay, Steve, would you like to make that motion?
Yes.
You so move that. Do we have a second? Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, any other continuing business that I have left out? I tried to put on the list anything you all had talked about since I wasn't here.
Just a couple pieces that don't have to be discussed, but just the ordinance review, if we can have that on continuing business for next meeting. See where we are in that, and, no, that's it. Just the one.
You talking about the zoning?
No, this is the stuff we sent out for everything,
Oh, down in Florida. The red.
You're welcome. Any other? Okay, citizens' comments. Anybody have any brief comments?
I'd like to thank the town and town manager for fixing the road in front of our house. It got right bad over there. And I talked to him about it. It's good.
Thank you.
Works that way sometimes.
Any other comments?
Every now and then.
Oh, everything.
And we're glad to have Chief Booth's son back with us. We appreciate you coming and taking an interest and all. Okay. I need a motion for the purpose of going into a closed session. Under the, to discuss personal matters, section 2.2-3711A1.
Personnel.
I'm sorry.
Mayor, I would also amend that to include, Mayor, can I amend that to include 2.2-3711A7 legal advice?
Yes, okay. Have a second?
Second.
Okay. So we thank you all for coming. It has been moved and seconded that we come out of closed session, 9:40. Sorry, people. I need to certify that we complied with the act that we voted by roll call. Shirley Dalton, Steve Sisk, E.B. Fisher, Ann Stinson, Robbie Knight, Al Simpson, Bill Muskovic.
Aye.
Mr. Vic.
Aye.
He goes by either name.
Okay, we are back into regular session.
Ms. Kovic.
Okay.
His daddy said, Mr.
Oh, he's wrong.
Is there any motions to be put on the floor? What was discussed in closed session?
You got the thing on?
Any motions on the floor?
In reference to the police position being a detective position, I make a motion to give $1.63 an hour raise to the present detective between now and the budget period, which is July 1st.
We have a motion on the floor to give a $63 promotion an hour, $63 per hour promotion to the detective position.
This is
And
promoted.
as,
As,
he said July 1.
He said
Said
July.
until July 1.
until,
Until the new budget period, July 1st.
until the new
So,
budget period, July
I'm sorry,
1st.
just to clarify, you want to revisit it on July 1st, or is this just a,
I think better wording would be effective next pay period.
Okay, we'll do that with effective next pay period.
exactly, yeah. Second?
Okay, there is a motion and a second on the floor to give a detective position $1.63 an hour raise effective the next pay period. All, let's do a roll call. All right, Ms. Dalton?
No.
Mr. Sis? Okay. Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Stinson?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
No.
Mr. Simpson?
No.
Mr.
Let's go.
Muscovy?
Yes.
Just use nine.
Yeah.
Oh, that is. Congratulations. For your first tiebreaker.
Any other? Any
I'm
other
sorry,
business?
how did you vote?
Yes.
I said yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I missed that.
Oh,
It's a late night. I'm going home.
I didn't hear.
I heard.
Okay, so the person sitting next to you weren't here.
I'm sorry, you said it's a tie, okay, any other business?
I move we adjourn.
Okay, it has been moved, do I have a second?
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Knight seconded, all those in favor, aye. Any opposed, like, and I'll